I've just bought my first home. Now, I didn't buy it because of the house. I bought it because this garden had huge potential. So I made an offer without my missus even knowing. Now, as you can imagine, that didn't go down very well, but let me tell you why. Ever since meeting Tina, she has literally been my rock, and every crazy idea I've ever had, she has stood by me. Even when I told her that I was quitting my job to transform gardens all over the country for free. Now look, I know to everyone that won't make sense, but Tina knew it would make me happy. But not only did she stand by me, she actually picked up the tools herself, and behind the scenes she has been a huge part of this channel. But there was a problem. We would go out on the road and we'd transform gardens all over the country. Then we'd come back to a rented house with a terrible garden, and it would literally make us depressed. And that is the reason why I took the plunge and I bought our very first home. But just like many of us, I didn't even know where to start, and I was a little overwhelmed. But then we had a message from one of the people's drives that we transformed for free, Sadiq. And from Sadiq's design, I had the bonkers idea of watching my favourite movie in an underground cinema with a viewing window into a British pond. But as you can imagine, that design was huge, and I didn't even know where to start. And to make it easier on myself, I broke it down into 5 simple zones. And over the last 4 weeks, we have made that dream become a reality. But there is one zone that everyone has been talking about.
You've been down my hole, I've got to come down and bang your hole, haven't I?
So in this video, that dream is going to become a reality. By the end of this episode, there is going to be a giant hole ready for us to build an underground cinema. However, there is a little bit of housekeeping that I need to do before we start digging, which is datum points. Either side of my YouTube studio, I need points where the finished height is going to be, because I need to know where the top of my cinema can go, the maximum point. So to do that, I've got a patio to install on that side, and I've got a beautiful resin path to install on that side. First up on the agenda is the porcelain patio. So this stuff is from Easy Bathroom. I know it's a bathroom company, but they also sell outdoor porcelain. And yes, we have a discount code, which is Mark10. I don't know how long that is going to last, so fill your boots, you cheeky buggers. A lot of questions that we do get asked with porcelain is, what fall should I do? We always recommend doing it with a 1 in 60 fall. You want to make sure that all the surface water that falls on your patio quickly disperses itself. Now with our mix, we use a grit sand mix, and we do that as a 4:1 ratio. So 4 parts grit sand, 1 part cement. And as you can see, it's going absolutely lovely. That mainly is because we picked up this machine, which is called the Zoe 130. It was from Pro Tiler's Tools, and it made light work of the cutting. If you do have any questions about the porcelain or how to install the patio, please let us know in the comments. I'll speak to you soon, you cheeky buggers. So now that we have got our dating point on that side of the YouTube studio, we know that the underground cinema is going here, but we also need a dating point on that side. So before we dig here, we need to get all the paths complete running to the cinema. Which brings me on to this bit, the paths. What are we making them out of, or making it out of? I've decided, because all the issues with the flooding, is go for a permeable path system. So I'm gonna go permeable concrete from What Mix. I'm gonna top it with some beautiful cappuccino from the resin mill. But we've got a little party trick. Where is it? Stay there. You stay there. I'm going to come back to you. This stuff, called trunking, and what sits inside it is more sexy. Orco lighting. We are going to put a full border of Orco lighting, so when at night, when some of you lot come round for a little bit of a tipple, we get to light it up and it looks wow, wow, wee, wow. To install our ducting, it is pretty simple. I knocked up a mix, yet again, a 4:1 grit and cement. Now with this mix, I wanted it quite sloppy because the channeling has little grooves in it, and I wanted the cement to push out of them grooves to hold it in place. And one of you lot give me the incredible idea on a live to hold the channeling in with pegs. So to do that, we ripped up the drain covers, we installed the channeling, and we pegged it so it didn't move. Honestly, thank you so much. It looked incredible. All the trunking is installed, ready for our LED to go in. But before we put it in, we're going to put that in tomorrow. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give it a good old whack with the battery-powered whacker. Then we're going to install the permeable concrete. That is super important because we want to create a permeable patio because the garden floods. So we're going to let all the rain that falls within the property stay within the property. So let's get it installed. Now for the paths, we chose a 10mm permeable stone from What Mix. Now the reason that we chose them, even though they're all over in Manchester, is they genuinely have the best concrete that we have used to date. I don't know why that is a thing. I didn't even know it was a thing, but it seems to be that it is. And I think it's because they mix it with a clean stone and cement. They've also added fibers in this just to give me that extra strength because I'm on peat below. So I wanted to make sure the paths were solid. Once I've installed it, it was time to give it a good old whack, and I was done. Concrete is concreted. I'm going to take you over it. Do I look like that Eric Cantona? Anyway, back to the concrete. We've put it in. It's dry. We're now going to resin. Me and our Tina, Pantatina. That is the back of Tina. We're going to put the resin in. What was super important is to put a permeable sub-base in because we're going to put a permeable resin pathway in, which means the water can soak straight through into the ground below. The reason that is important because the more and more people putting solid patio spaces in with drainage, pumping it into a combined system means that we're flooding local areas, which isn't great. So everything that rains within this garden is going to stay within this garden. Now it's time to install the pierre resistant, the resin. Now you've probably seen at the start of this video that we do some landscaping for free. Yes, we do. But I do need your help. We're trying to get back to 1,000 members because the work on the road is bloody expensive. So if you want to support the work that we do on the road, or you'd even want your garden done yourself, join our membership, help the cause, because I'm dying to get back out on the road. As soon as we get back to 1,000 members, we are going to be pulling the trigger. It's now time for the resin. Now, thank you to my members who voted for this colour. I did a little poll on a YouTube post and all the members voted for this colour, which is called Cappuccino. Now, this stuff is called resin rocks. Now, what a lot of other companies do is have different size stones that you have to mix up, and it's super confusing, but the resin mill have brought out resin rocks, which is all them different sizes in one bag, which for me makes my life so much easier. This cappuccino is going absolutely incredible. And I know what you're thinking, what would it look like in your garden? Well, thanks to the resin mill, they have this AI generated picture thing. I'll put a link to it right now so you can go on, you can take a picture of your garden, put it in, and it'll show you what your garden would look like with resin in. Or if you want a driveway, you can do the same with the driveway. And another good thing with it is if you want a really good resin installer, they have recommended installers all over the country. And just like some of the resin installers that you've seen in these videos, you can get them booked. Last little bit of resin going in. One thing you didn't see on camera was I had a little bit of a boo-boo and I didn't order enough mixes. When you're installing resin, it's super important to make sure you measure twice and order once, because what happens if you don't, you get what's called a dry joint, where you can see two bits of resin together. We don't want that, we want it to look like one beautiful piece of resin. So thankfully, Mark has got me 2 mixes sent out and we've got the path going in right now. One thing I would really like to ask you, there's a new feature on YouTube called height. Down below, there's a like button and there's a height button. Please smash the hell out of both, because YouTube is now backing small creators that get hyped, and that means I have more moolah, which means I can surprise more of you with gardens. And just on that, we have just hit 400k, which is absolutely incredible, but we need 1,000 members to get back out on the road. So if you are considering joining membership, it's a great way of supporting the channel, it's a great way of supporting the work that we do out on the road. And you never know, I could be knocking on your door, surprising you with a beautiful garden. How cool would that be? Right, time to get this wrapped up. I'll speak to you in a minute. This is the last, literally the last little bit going in, which means it's now time for the pierre resistant, the LED Orco lighting. Let's get it installed. Patio's installed, resin's installed. It's now time for the creme de la creme of all LED lighting, Extreme Flex by Orco. I will put a link to this in the description below. I'm now going to explain how we install it. Digger's on its way, so as soon as the digger arrives, we can then start digging for our underground cinema. Let's go. Now, when installing any electrics, I would always recommend, in fact, I'm telling you, to make sure that you get a professional electrician. Never wing it yourself, because it's dangerous, guys. It's super dangerous. So I got one, and he's called Joshy Boy. And Josh helped me install this beautiful Extreme Flex from Orco. Now, this is fully weather resistant, which is cool, because I don't know if you've just seen then, there was a dark cloud coming. So he tried to get all this LED strip installed before it absolutely hammered it down. Now we're using something from Tracer, which is a, what do they call it? Prototype. If you're seeing this right now and it's blur, it means you're not allowed to see it yet. But if you see it, it means I've had the go-ahead from Ox, which now own Tracer, and we can use it. So let's see what it looks like. So this is called a true shot. And what it's designed to do, if I go like here now and spray it, it'll spray a little X so you know where the center of it is. I think that is pretty cool. Now that I'd stopped messing about with prototypes, it was time for Joshy Boy to get all the electrics installed. Now, I will obviously put a link to this Extreme Flex in the description below, but if you essentially just give Lee a ring, say you've seen the video, he will look after you. I'm not sponsored by him, he just genuinely has a really good product, hence why you've probably seen me use it in a fair few videos now. All the LEDs are fully installed. A massive shout out to Lee from Orco for sending me this beautiful Extreme Flex. But I know what you're thinking, because I'm thinking the same thing. What does it look like at night? Well, let's take a look. Seeing this genuinely fills me with pride. The fact that 4 weeks ago, this garden looked completely different. Honestly, it's a testament to you lot for all your support, love and joy over the last 4 weeks. It's been incredible. But it also fills me with a little bit of dread, because now it's time to dig the cinema. It is now time to do the bit you have all been waiting for, the underground cinema dig. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty nervous about this. Now, when we set out to do this project 3 months ago, there was a few things that happened. One, we pushed it back because we surprised 3 of you guys with gardens and driveways. We did the 24-hour project, we did Sadiq's project, and then we also did the Debenham's garden, which pushed us back. Now, what that means to us, as you can probably see right now, it's raining. Winter is approaching very, very quickly. Now, I need to get this cinema dug and finished before Christmas, so I need to get it fully watertight before the severe weather creeps in. Now, we're going to have lots and lots of problems with this dig, and that is why I'm going to ring one of my friends who has a little bit of experience in this, Colin.
Hello?
Hello!
It's Mark Marshall!
How are you doing, buddy?
Right, Mark, what brings you to ring me up at this time of the night then?
as you know, you have inspired me quite a bit, and I'm starting to dig the underground cinema, and I wanted to see, before I started to dig, have you learnt anything on your journey that might make me make less mistakes?
So because you're sticking a metal box in the ground, right? Like a shipping container, yeah?
I've changed my mind. So I've found a company that create polystyrene Lego, and we can fill the Lego with concrete.
I think I've seen this on Grand Designs.
How did you deal with the rain through the... I know you had your covers over your garage, but did you ever have a flooding?
I got water come through the roof of it, obviously, when it really, really peed it down through all the tarps and everything. But the lucky thing I have, it's nearly like this house was made to have all this underground stuff in it, is because I'm on limestone. It doesn't matter how much it rained, if it ever got in the hole, it just disappeared through a crack. I'm now thinking, like, why are you doing this now? We've had the driest summer.
So...
You're starting it now.
So I actually mentioned a little bit earlier on in this video is I should have started it 3 months ago, but I was out surprising people with free gardens. I was putting it off to get to this point, but I can't put it off anymore. I've got to start digging. Now, my question to you is, would you build the cinema and dig from the cinema into Colin's closet, or do I dig from Colin's closet into the cinema?
The underground bunker, I can't believe this took us 2.5 months from start to finish.
Wow.
And I put that down mostly to the fact we could dig it all in one go, build it all in one go, cover it all, and then it's all done. But no, to do it all in as individual bits, because then once you've done all your digging's done. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that's the bulk of that out the way. So yeah, definitely do it like that. Dig it all, build it all, cover it all.
Now, I have spoke to my local council. They've said you don't need planning permission as regards to traditional building and extension. You still need to just make them aware of you're building it to a standard. Was that the kind of same for you?
I've always been told that I did need planning, but with a tunnel, I just thought, I'm just going to do it and see if they say anything. One other thing is concrete is a lot more powerful than you'd ever imagine. So when you're pouring it down the back of walls and stuff, make sure they are well supported. Right.
Colin, honestly, thank you. You're a legend. I guess we'll see this when it...
Yeah, I'm going to come and see it, Mark. You've been down my hole. I've got to come down your hole, ain't I? What else do we not do?
You're a legend. Right, I'm going to get digging. It's now time to dig. Hit something, and I hope to God it's not what I'm thinking it is. Now, when United Utilities sent me a plan, it was a rain pipe. I think that's what it is. That's a big pipe. Oh, bloody hell. So that's more than likely what that is, because I hit some concrete there. That'll be into there. God damn it, Dale. How do we work this without ruining our plans? Wow, look at that. That puts a little bit of a spanner in the works. That is a huge pipe. Now that's rain. That's not waste, that's rain apparently. I'm not gonna let it ruin my plans. Oh, I'm being tested. Now, one of the questions that has been burning in my mind since thinking about this is, how am I going to build it? Now, as I said earlier, I don't have the skill set of Colin, but I can build Lego, which I'm going to allude to a little bit why later on. So essentially, the outdoor cinema is going to go here. Now, it's going to have to deal with so much pressure of the land around it, plus all that force from the pond into the window. So I've found this kind of Lego blocks like so, and you stack them on top of each other. I know I'm a very good drawer. And then once it's filled, you then have a tube and it pours concrete down and it fills all the wall with concrete. So essentially what I need to do is build a concrete pad, build all the Lego blocks up out of polystyrene, and then fill it with concrete. And then that way it will withstand all the force from the outside, as well as being strong enough for me to build a roof and then cover the roof in concrete. That is the plan. I've currently got someone working on a design right now, and in the next video I'm hoping to be building them blocks. house. Planning is slightly different with this underground cinema. Because you're not obstructing anyone's view, you're not building out, there's a different form of planning where I just have to submit my plans to the council and they'll basically sign it off. That's what I've been told by the council. Just get all your stuff across, send across. It's not like a full planning as what normally you would do when you build an extension for a house, but you do need to make them aware of what you're doing. So I have spoke to them, I'm submitting the plans to them, but I'm not going to let it stop me moving forward. What is going to stop me moving forward is this terrible pipe. So you think we might not be able to move it?
YouTube is now recommending you to watch this video, and if you don't click it, you'll you'll sink in a sand hole. Yeah. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Is
Quicksand.
Quicksand. Yeah, you'll sink in quicksand. Is this going to be a link to one of my videos?
Yeah.